had always placed complete faith in my wife, Emily. For 8 years, we had built a life together, a home, a marriage, and our little girl. So, when she began saying she needed more me time, to catch up on work or spend evenings with friends, I didn't question it. I wanted to believe her. But the late nights, the non-stop buzzing of her phone, and the way she suddenly stepped outside to take calls left my gut uneasy. One Thursday afternoon, she told me she had a work lunch. Something about the way she said it felt rehearsed, almost too perfectly delivered. That's when suspicion outweighed trust. I got in my car and followed her from a distance, keeping a few blocks back until she stopped at a small cafe downtown. My chest tightened instantly. That place wasn't just any cafe. It was ours, the spot where we used to spend date nights at the very beginning. I parked across the street, my heart pounding harder than I cared to admit, and waited to see who she was meeting. Moments later, a man walked inside. Not just anyone, it was Jason, the co-worker she had mentioned casually more than once. Just a friend from the office, she'd claimed. Now I was watching the two of them laugh like high school kids, leaning toward each other as though the rest of the world had vanished. I stayed frozen, every part of me aching to storm inside and demand answers. But instead, I kept watching, the pressure in my chest unbearable as Jason reached across the table and slid his hand over hers. Emily didn't flinch. She didn't pull away. She only smiled. That same smile she once reserved for me. My stomach dropped. I tried to convince myself it was nothing more than friendliness, but then she leaned forward and kissed him. It wasn't long, but it didn't have to be. That single kiss was enough to confirm every fear I had tried so hard to suppress. It was like a blade twisting inside me. The woman I trusted, the mother of my child, had just betrayed me in broad daylight. Rage bubbled beneath my skin, but I knew bursting in and screaming would only make me look small. No, she needed to understand what she had lost, in a way that would haunt her. An idea struck. I pulled a pen from my console and scribbled on the back of an old receipt, my hand trembling but my resolve steady. 7 words. You just kissed our marriage goodbye. I stepped out of the car and crossed the street, every step heavy but certain. Inside, the cafe buzzed with chatter, but all I could hear was the pounding in my chest. I walked straight up to their table. Emily's face went pale, her eyes wide. Jason's hand still lingered near hers. Without saying a word, I set the folded note between them beside their untouched cups. Then I met her eyes for only a moment. She tried to speak, but nothing came out. I didn't give her the chance. I turned and walked out. The cool air hit me as I stepped outside, and a strange calm settled over me. For months, I had doubted myself, questioned my worth, even blamed myself for the distance between us. But seeing her so casually give away what belonged to us alone made everything clear. She wasn't the woman I had married anymore. I didn't need her explanations. I didn't need her excuses. I needed freedom. At home, I packed a bag and left it by the door. My phone lit up over and over, calls, texts, frantic messages from Emily, but I didn't answer once. Instead, I sent her a photo of the note I'd left on the cafe table. That was all the closure I required. That night, I drove to my brother's house. When I finally lay down, I felt an odd peace. The betrayal still burned, but at least the charade was over. In the days that followed, Emily begged me to listen. She showed up in tears, insisting it was a mistake, that it meant nothing, that she had only been lonely. But no words could erase the image of her kissing him in the place that once held our happiest memories. She had already made her choice. And I had made mine when I slipped that note onto their table. The divorce papers went through quickly. She fought at first, but the evidence was undeniable. In time she gave up. Jason didn't stay either. He moved on, leaving her to face the wreckage she had created. A small part of me pitied her, but I knew she had brought it upon herself. She had lost me, lost our family, and was left with nothing but regret. Now whenever I pass that cafe, I don't feel rage. I feel relief. That note wasn't just an ending, it was a new beginning. I walked away with my dignity intact. And I'll never forget the look on her face when she realized she had destroyed everything in the space of a single kiss.